And we are freaking live. Hey guys, welcome to the Superhero Cuts podcast where we talk all things Marvel, DC, and Star Wars. It's your boy Stevie Hayes, joined by Jerry. My man, how are you doing today, bro? What's going on?
I'm good, bro. I am good. How are you?
Doing good, man. Yo, do you just have like 1,000 like black shirts?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Are you for real?
Yeah,
Yeah, because like I've never seen you in another color shirt, and I'm like, bro has to have like 1,000 of those shirts.
yeah. Makes life so easy. I should get some gray shirts.
So are you like, so you're a minimalist outfit guy?
Minimalist. Listen, I've worn some maximal stuff in my day, especially when I was like bigger into sneakers. But what happened was I was a huge sneaker collector, like huge, and I still have a crazy collection and some heat that
Can't wait to see it.
would put most people's collections to shame. But sneakers aren't what they used to be. I mean, the innovation isn't there. They're always going back and retooling retros. And that got kind of boring to me. Rap got boring, and I just kind of fell out of love for the culture of it all, and went bigger into being a minimalist because it stopped being fun.
Yeah, it definitely is not the same for sure. It definitely is not the same. But all right, so we don't have a crazy docket, but we have a lot of strong topics that I think we're going to spend a lot of time on today. And the first thing that we're going to be spending a lot of time on is obviously Captain America 4, because I was going to do a breakdown, but I was like, you know what? Let's wait till we get on the pod, because I know there was a lot. Jerry and I were already obviously texting about it. So before we break down this trailer, Jerry, did you like this trailer for Captain America Brave New World?
I'm kind of torn because I really like the trailer. I think the movie looks great, but I gotta say, like, and I'm just gonna say it, they go out of the way to make every group feel special except for the Jews. And they totally screwed the Israeli superhero Sabra. They, are reinventing her to appease a crowd that, it's just ridiculous. And it sucks because I was so excited for this movie, and not because of her. I kind of forgot about her. I really I'm not big on Sabra or anything, but like when it comes to like erasing someone's Israeli Jewish identity, it's just ridiculous. But aside from that, I think the movie actually does look great. I think the movie looks great. I like that they did Red Hulk. I love that Harrison Ford is in it. But yeah. So what about you?
Yeah, I mean, I think the trailer was great. I mean, that's probably one of the best trailers we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Just the quality was just, to me, it just looked awesome. The color grading was cool. Not to mention, it seems like we're gonna spend a lot of time in the White House, which for some reason I never knew I needed that in the MCU. Definitely, like I love the camaraderie between Harrison Ford and Anthony Mackie. You can definitely tell, bro, they have some chemistry. Like they you can tell their chemistry is like really good. It's also funny how Harrison Ford's Thunderbolt Ross talks about why he doesn't have a beard, because like most presidents don't have a beard, which is like low key true, which is actually hilarious. And the funny thing is that Harrison Ford probably walked in, Marvel was like, "Yep, no beard." They were just like, "Well, you're Harrison Ford. We can't see." You know what I mean? Like we can't say no.
Right. Yeah.
But it was always saying, go ahead.
I was gonna listen. Harrison Ford, like, they made him look great, and it's crazy because they totally de-aged him for with the CGI for Indiana Jones, which was ridiculous. They should have just recasted him and like worried about the future of Indiana Jones. But they didn't have to. I will say, I'm going to save that point for later, but the trailer looked great. This movie needs to be a success because they have to establish Sam Wilson as Captain America in the MCU. This is something that we've talked about many times. Unfortunately, there are always going to be the fans that are like, you know, not my Captain America, which is like ridiculous. He's Captain America in the comics. Captain Steve Rogers is not in the MCU, so like it's such a ridiculous complaint. And you know, and you know, Anthony Mackie is a phenomenal actor. He's done a great job with this role. He's been in the MCU for a long time. You know, so I think that this movie needs to be like an absolute haymaker of quality, and I think it's going to be, you know,
Yep.
and once it is, like, you know, people who complain about that are going to look really stupid.
Yep. And the hilarious thing is that when Marvel was putting out MCU films, Steve Rogers wasn't even the Cap in the Marvel comics at the time, which is even more funny. You know what I mean? Which is probably why Marvel comics didn't get the boom that they should have during the MCU boom. Is because Jane was Thor at that point, and then Sam was the Cap. But like, it's just funny how, like, you know, people love talking about, like, oh, let's stay with the comics until their favorite characters going, and it's like, oh, so we're just going to deviate away now. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah,
Like, you
and
can't be hot or cold. I mean, like, you can't be in the center. You got to freaking be one way or the other. You know what I'm saying? It's funny.
yeah, and you can't try to please everyone, otherwise you end up pleasing no one. And I
Yep.
think we're seeing a lot of that with a very specific political candidate, not to get into politics, but if you know type of thing. As much as I hate that phrase, it's like, you know, people usually use it to like shout out their local pizza place. Like, no, I don't know your local pizza place. I'm in New York. You know?
But with this trailer, this trailer is literally amazing. And I also want to say, I love that Bucky's not in this. And a lot of people might not agree, but I do think that Sam Wilson in this film needs to be alone. And I think that, like, to establish him as Captain America, he has to have his own sidekick. And that's why I love Falcon also coming aside, because he has to be the main hero in this story. And because the reality is that, you know, people were looking to Bucky and Falcon and the Winter Soldier, and Sam has always been the actual side guy in his stuff. So him being the main character, I think that this is a big risk on Marvel. But I mean, let's talk about the stats. Let's talk about the fact that this is the most liked trailer that Marvel has had in a really long time. This is one of the most viewed trailers that Marvel has had in a while. So, you know, this is doing good on the stats end, and all in all, there has been more of a positive feedback than negative, which in the eyes of Marvel, it is a really big deal. And I also think it is because of the fact that it seems like Marvel is kind of going back to its true form, which is, let's make the action really fast and crazy, but also, like, let's make this a, you know, political, like, thriller. And that's what this looks like. And also, people, and we're going to get into the breakdown, but a lot of, and one of the things that, you know, one of my friends said, that they said they didn't like how this feels like a copy of Civil War and the Winter Soldier. And what I told him is that, I said, no, this is perfect, because this is a culmination of both of those films, you know, because you get the Winter Soldier with the government stuff, but it also feels like Civil War, because there's going to be multiple villains that Captain America is going to be going against. And so I think that Captain America 4 being a culmination of both of those films with Sam, I think it's kind of a beautiful vision. And one last thing before you go, the Russos are written all over this film. Like, you can tell the Russos worked on this movie for sure.
Yeah, and it, you know, people have to remember it is Captain America 4. You know, I think Kevin Feige said something. I saw it today, and I forget where he said it, but how like, and it was a brilliant comment. It was like, superhero movies isn't a genre. Like, we make many different kinds of movies that are all Marvel movies. And when you think about it that way, and you think about this being Captain America 4, like, this is going to be a movie in the same lineage with the same DNA as Winter Soldier, Civil War, and, you know, that's what it felt like. And the action is 100% going to be, we're going to see the kind of combat that we saw, you know, in the street scene with Cap going at it with Bucky before the mask falls off, you know. And I'm so glad you said that Bucky shouldn't be in the movie. And I love Bucky. Bucky is also one of my favorite characters in the MCU. But what fans, whoever's watching, need to understand is that there is a bandwidth to the spotlight. And just because you like a character and think a character belongs in the movie, sometimes it's more important to drive the point of another character, and you can't share the bandwidth of spotlight all the time. And given that this is the first Captain America for Sam Wilson, he's got to do it on his own. You can't have a story where people are like, oh yeah, Sam Wilson needed backup from Bucky. Like, Sam Wilson needs to stand on his own and kind of prove himself to unfair fans in this movie. And I think that even if those fans are unfair and they have their comments, if the movie is good enough that everyone else is like, that movie was absolute fire, you sound like a fool, like that's kind of the effect that I think is going to happen. And I think they're going to win some people over, but obviously there's some people that no matter what, they're never going to be happy. They're always going to complain. And like I said before, you're never going to please everyone, so you can't try to please everyone.
Exactly. And that's one of the things that I want to pose to fandom as a whole. And this is obviously another conversation that we can have another day. Maybe next week we might no, it's Deadpool week, but maybe we can have this convo maybe with like the nerd council of me, you, and Slav. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
just
Slav would be a great person for that conversation.
Exactly. But the thing that I don't understand from a lot of Marvel fans is that, like, you complain about what Marvel does wrong, right? About how it's so agenda, they're not focusing on action. But then we get a trailer like Captain America Brave New World, which is giving you everything that we've asked for. And it's like, why do you hate that when they're trying to make things right? And sometimes, at least from my perspective, like, yes, like there's some things in Agatha that I'm not happy about. That we're gonna talk about maybe after Deadpool. I'm not really happy with what they're trying to do with Wiccan. Like I've been reading some stuff, a little too agenda-y for me a little bit. But it's
boy.
like,
I already know what they're
yeah,
doing with Wicked.
yeah. And when I read, and do you know how I know? Because I've read the comic about him, and when I saw what I saw, I was like, oh, this is why they chose him. But yeah. But
yeah.
But the part that I just don't get is, like, some fans, like, you can't hate when they're trying to fix it, and Dragon Trainer, we're going to talk about the Eternals when we talk about this X-Men stuff. Don't worry, I got some fire for you when we talk about this X-Men reboot, and I think in this next topic. But yeah, Jerry, like, sometimes I just don't understand how fandom, like, you complain, and Marvel's, they gave you a fire trailer with no agenda, all fire, and you're still complaining, and that's kind of where I'm like, you can disagree from a story standpoint, but if we're talking about just from face value, like, it's what people want. So
Yeah.
I am really excited. But let's get into this trailer, okay? And we're not going to break it down scene by scene, because I mean that's going to be kind of annoying. But I want to talk about just some things that popped out to me. Isaiah Bradley, okay? I think now you and I now, what was your reaction when Isaiah Bradley just started firing off at Thunderbolt Ross? Didn't that seem a little off to you?
Yo, that's gonna be a crazy scene. He looks dead. I like Isaiah Bradley. I'm
Same
sorry.
Here,
like,
yeah.
You tell me you got a Captain America that was in World War II that's still around today, and we didn't know about until recently. Like, that's dope.
That's a Disney. That should be a Disney freaking Plus show. Just saying. At Marvel.
Yes. And you want to talk about, like, the type of stories they love to tell? Like, that would be a good one.
100%.
But it does seem, and it does seem that the agendas, it does seem like for a while the agenda was black, and then it moves on to another group. And it's like, it's weird that people are behind agendas that care about one group for a little bit and then move on to another, instead of just, like, why not caring about everyone? It does seem weird to me.
Yeah, so So here's my question to you: Why do you have any ideas on why you think Isaiah Bradley shot at Thunderbolt Ross? Like, do you think it's something that he showed in that screen that pissed him off?
What I am hoping is that there's a backstory there. Like maybe Thunderbolt Ross is someone that screwed over Isaiah Bradley in the past, and that comes out in this movie. They're old guys. We know that, and we know that we're gonna get good action with them. Let's get some like historic beef between them. I think that would be a really cool angle. Um, and it definitely seems like Isaiah Bradley had a lot of adversity in his life, and I think it would be uh, easy to tell the story as someone like Thunderbolt Ross being behind some of that.
Yeah, I mean,
That was not.
it honestly threw me off. I did not expect Isaiah Bradley to flip out like that. And honestly, Jerry, we should have known that he was going to flip out because in 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 Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was literally on the edge pretty much the whole show. I mean, he was. So I
Yeah.
should have expected him to flip out like that. But that scene where he shoots at Thunderbolt Ross and it jumps out of the window is insane. I think, and I do think it has something to do with Thunderbolt Ross, and this is going to go to the next topic. Why Thunderbolt? Not the next topic, but the next thing in this trailer. It's pretty known from this trailer that Thunderbolt Ross is being hunted. That someone has put a hit out on him, and I'm not sure if Isaiah Bradley is a part of that hit. If he is, that even makes this story more interesting. And we're going to talk about Giancarlo Esposito after this as well. So Thunderbolt Ross is being hunted. Could this could mean many things, right? I mean, could this be Thunderbolt Ross announcing that he's doing the Thunderbolts? Could this have been a type of announcement with that? Could this be, mutant stuff? Like, what do you have any idea on what you think Thunderbolt Ross might know, or that something that he might be doing that might piss off someone like Isaiah Bradley and all these other people that's trying to just murder him? Because it seems like, because I mean, Sam did say to Thunderbolt Ross in the trailer basically like, "Yo, you have no friends. No one is for you." And one of the only people that's his trusted people is the girl that was supposed to be Sabra. Like, that's pretty much the only trusted confidant that we know other than Sam. So
Yeah. And they changed
yeah,
her into like a Russian Soviet, So they're definitely, kind of playing into her being. So it's tough because the Thunderbolts aren't necessarily villain, but it does seem like they're making Sabra a villain. They're calling her Ruth, which is super ironic. Talk about erasure. And they are, I think it. I have to imagine it has something to do with the serum. I feel
that's
like
what I think
they
too.
are going to try to bring the serum into play. I don't think that Sam is going to be getting the serum. What I do think is that Thunderbolt Ross probably wants to manufacture the serum and put it into the military, something crazy like that. I don't know what Ruth's role will be in that, but it is interesting, and I see Thunderbolt Ross kind of having, obviously he's not corporate, but the corporate stereotype, greedy, not caring about consequences, not caring about people. He just wants to get the serum developed, probably give a no bid contract, which means no competition for the government contract, which obviously is going to be paying a ton of money for the serum, for the military. And, Sam is probably against it for a good reason that we don't know yet,
Yeah. And
But
that's what I
yeah.
was going to say. And those were the notes I had down, bro. Is that has to do something with the serum, mostly because we see the Red Hawk at the end of the freaking trailer, right? So I
Yeah.
do, and I don't think it's going to be Super Soldier Serum because that was pretty much the whole entire thing from Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that he thinks that he perfected Bruce Banner's serum, and I think that they're going to be trying to make like a conscious Hulk.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of going to be the route that they're going to go, and he's going to reveal this, and then Isaiah Bradley's going to crash out, and that's where I think.
By the way, Sam Wilson, I should mention because this is important. He has gotten the serum in canon Marvel comics.
Do a video on that. Oh my god. Oh,
yeah, I should. It's a cool
that.
story. Yeah, but I don't think they're going to do that in this movie. I think they're going to do the more traditional Sam Wilson. And listen, they're not. If they gave Sam Wilson the super serum, like you have to remember that they gave Chris Evans the serum when he was a scrawny little boy that didn't have much fighting experience other than getting beaten up in back alleys in Brooklyn as a kid. Sam is a battle-tested veteran and superhero, and he could fly like really well. So he would be super overpowered if he got the serum. He would be
just make him the Black Panther at that point.
he would be arguably like top 2, maybe top number 1 strongest hero in the Marvel universe in the MCU we've ever seen. It would be cool, but I don't think he needs it. I think he's a great character already. He could fly. Also, he looks, and I hope they lean into this. I don't think they will because it's Marvel and times are different. But they did give him Uzis, dual Uzis in Winter Soldier, which looked incredible. But
those were fire. Those were fire.
Those were so fire.
Yeah,
it does seem like Hollywood is scaling back on guns when they can. Another reference for that is if you are a fan of Mission Impossible, if you've noticed, the later the movie is released, the less guns there are. And the main character, Ethan Hunt, barely, I don't even think he held a gun other than the desert scene.
Unless if you're Jack Reacher. Unless if you're Jack Reacher or John Wick, where they're savages.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, but I don't think like Mission Impossible scaling back the guns was an accident, and
that's a great point.
Marvel, Disney. Do I need to spell it out any further? So, but I just don't think they're going to give him the serum. I don't think they need to. He's obviously, combat ready already. And would I rather become a Hulk or a Captain America? Captain America. You can't really control the power.
Yeah, Cap. And I don't want to turn it into an uncontrollable being. Like that sucks.
And I don't want to be anything like Mark Ruffalo. Yeah.
Oh, here we go. This dude.
But if I hate him. If you gave me the opportunity to take the serum or to take the adamantium into my body, I would do it. So I'll no hesitation.
I'll do adamantium just because I will live forever. That'll be kind of fun.
Yeah. I always say I want to live forever too, and people say I'm crazy. I'm like, I always say I would want to live as far into the future as we.
Yeah. And even the part of change history, that'll be cool too.
I do think we are living in an incredible time period right now, and I think a lot of people take it for granted. But
100%.
Yeah.
I think 100%. So yeah, I think that so you and I are I'm glad that we're on the same page where you and I think that the serum is the reason why Thunderbolt Ross is behind it. Now, let's talk about Giancarlo Esposito.
Okay.
How did you like him in this trailer?
I thought he was cool. I think he looks cool. I think it's very interesting that they picked this character, George Washington Bridge, because listen, I read a lot of comics, but the truth is, I don't care who you talk to. No one really knows a lot about this guy.
Unless you're freaking Comics Explained. Literally. Yeah. That might be the only guy that knew him.
100%. And I may have seen him in a comic before, but I don't remember. You don't remember every single character you come across. And, I didn't remember him. When I heard the name, I was like, well, that's odd because I know the George Washington Bridge.
Like, who the hell is that?
On the George Washington Bridge after we saw the Flash movie.
Yeah, dude. And then when you type it in George Washington Bridge, you see a bridge and you're like, that's not who I'm looking for. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I am excited to see them all announced at Comic Con, and I expect to see more footage next week at Comic Con, which is pretty exciting. I think Giancarlo was dope. He just comes off as a political thriller villain. I mean, that's just what it kind of comes off as. And I like the tactical look that he has. He just looks really dope, man. I can't wait to see him in action. Um, Now I do want to talk about Tiamat Island. I know a lot of people want to ask about that because we finally get to see what is going on there. Because the Eternals was a movie I think is underrated. I love that movie actually.
Me too.
But you and I talk about this all the time that Tiamat Island's been sitting there and no one has said a word. I do think that now we saw Falcon flying. Oh, Falcon. We did. We saw Falcon and Captain America flying on Tiamat Island. It was a quick part of the trailer where we saw Sam flying there. Now, you and I have both talked about the fact that there is something on Tiamat Island, and as we've covered this movie for the past almost 2 years, you and I have talked about the fact that there was an inner work in the plot even before all these reshoots and reworks of the plot that a lot of people were trying to get something on Tiamat Island, and that all of these different countries are kind of going after it, and that's maybe that may be what Sam is doing. Do you have any idea of what you think could possibly be on Tiamat Island? Do you think that Thunderbolt Ross might be getting the serum from that celestial on Tiamat Island, or do you have any? Have you thought about what's there now that this is in the Captain America film?
Yeah, no, I haven't, but I don't think it has anything to do with the serum. I
Yeah,
think that they are going to try to tie it to some kind of Eternals thing. I don't know what, but you know, I don't know. I just feel like Tiamat Island, if it would be a pretty crazy retcon to say that they need something from Tiamat Island for the serum, even though it wouldn't, undo anything because they never really told us how they developed the serum to begin with. So, like, technically they could, and it would be colored in the lines, but I don't know. That's just not what I thought. Is that what you think?
yeah. No, I think there's something that's there. Could be mutants. I think the
Okay.
mutants will be in Captain America, Brave New World. And just keeping it fair with you guys, I think after Deadpool Wolverine, the mutants are getting streamlined into the MCU, and we're gonna talk about that, in with our next topic. But I expect mutants to be on Tiamat Island, and I expect like that to happen. Um, that like there's no other explanation than some type of beings being there, and the mutants linked to the Eternals busted. We will get into that next topic, but yeah. So there's not really much that I really have to say about Tiamat Island because like a lot of people are hype about it, but there's not really much to say other than that there could be someone there or a group of people there, and the only
Yeah.
sensible thing is to me is mutants. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. So that's kind of where I'm at. And let me see if there's anything else on this list here. I mean that's pretty much everything. We see the final battle on there as well, where we get the Red Hawk and Giancarlo's characters there. We see the leader. We see the back of his head. Are you excited to see him as well in the movie?
Yeah, definitely. That like is actually cool.
Yeah, he looks dope. He looks dope. So there's a lot of, and another character that I am wondering about, where's Sharon? Because she was apparently the power freaking broker. So, she's definitely going to pop up in this film. Don't I wouldn't be shocked if someone like Zemo pops up as well. I think there's a lot of characters that could just pop up in this movie.
I really hope that Zemo pops up. I really hope that Sharon pops up. Both of them are such iconic characters in the MCU and in the comics. Like it is Captain America 4. I think there needs to be some things that tie it back to Captain America other than just Sam Wilson. And I think those are like the perfect characters. And the beauty about Zemo is, first of all, is Zemo on? Who's the Thunderbolts roster?
Okay, so it is not. So it is. He is not listed, but the rumor is that he will pop up in it.
Yeah, I need more Zemo. I love Zemo. He's such a good character. The actor they have for him in the MCU, like is
He's
just
perfect.
incredible. Yeah, perfect. I really hope he pops up. And the beauty of Zemo is like he kind of had a little bit of a redemption arc. The other thing that I love about, and that's the other thing I love about him in the MCU is that he never was like he wasn't as bad as other villains. Like he only did it because his family was torn apart, and I don't think he actually killed anyone. Well, I think he did kill the guy that he was hunting down for the mission report information, but he didn't kill any of the Avengers. I don't think, if I remember correctly, and he really only did it because it
T'Challa's
was
dad.
revenge.
He had the bomb.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The bomb at the UN.
But
Yeah.
we've seen other redemptions. I mean, Bucky redeemed himself, so it's really not that different from Zemo. Obviously, Bucky is gets a bigger excuse because he was not in control of his body when he killed people. But they kind of redeemed Zemo in the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I think that familiar characters would help this movie. They just can't be heroes that take the spotlight away from Sam, and Zemo and Sharon don't do that.
100%.
So, yeah.
Yeah, Sharon needs to be in this. And she needs
Yeah.
to be redeemed as well. I don't really like that she's evil. Kind of doesn't fit her well.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some chats. Unfortunately, I'm still torn on this movie. The trailer looks great. Don't get me wrong. Red Hulk looks great, but unless the Savage Hulk is in this movie, then I'll be disappointed. I want Hulk versus Red. See, I'm not the biggest Hulk guy, man. It's just me personally. Like I don't have to see Hulk versus Red Hulk in this film to make the movie for me.
Yeah. So, like for me, I loved the Hulk when I was 5 years old, and then I grew up.
Yeah, and look. I like Savage Hulk and Ragnarok and then Avengers 1. Those are great versions of the Hulk, but like it's not a make or break for me. But to me, the Hulk in general was never like an A-list character in my eyes. Personally, just me. Like I know the Hulk is popular, but he's never been that guy for me.
So the best way I feel that the Hulk could be described in the MCU is when they announced the new DCU, a lot of people were saying that Batman, they're not going to do another Batman movie. So Batman is just going to be a character for the bigger shared universe, Justice League type movies. And obviously no one wanted that because Batman is the GOAT. I mean, Batman is, many people, myself included, number one favorite DC character. The Hulk doesn't share that in common with Batman. You'd be hard pressed to find people who would say that the Hulk is their favorite Marvel character in comics, especially not the MCU. And the Hulk is a shared universe character. He only had one solo movie, and they did that when they were still figuring things out, and it was an entirely different and far superior actor to Mark Ruffalo. So Hulk 100%. Is a shared universe character. He is a character that is there to help in the larger shared universe movies. He's not there because of the value of him as a character by himself.
Yes, exactly. And like the fight will be awesome to see, but it's not a make or break for us personally.
And I don't think I don't think Hulk belongs in the movie. And because he doesn't belong in the movie, also Sam Wilson needs like villains like the Red Hulk to successfully establish himself as Captain America in the new MCU going forward. You have to remember 100%. This is a guy that probably not going to have the serum, and he's still going to have to be able to show up and fight as Captain America. So
yeah, I think he's going to get the serum temporarily though for the final battle. That's what I think.
Possibly, but regardless, Red Hulk is the kind of character like he needs to take down for this movie to work.
100%. I'm gonna ignore this question just because we're gonna talk about this in a little bit. What would you do if you had Falcon's wings? I would fly. By the way, I love Falcons.
Yeah,
I'll fly,
yeah.
bro. By the way,
I'd look in the mirror. Nah,
yeah,
fly,
sticking out my
bro.
butt. Like I don't know.
Yeah.
No. By the way, I love Falcon's new flying mask. It gives me that like Top Gun vibe. That's cool.
Yeah.
Um, and now it goes to like mock like whatever it is. Like you saw the little air thing, for like it used to
Yeah.
do with the Iron Man suit. Would you rather become Hawk, Captain America, 100%? I can't wait to watch the movie. It's gonna be awesome, but it doesn't feel like a Captain America. It feels like a Captain America movie to me, bro. It really, I mean,
Same. It really
man,
does,
yeah,
bro.
it feels that it feels very Captain America. Come on, Hawk versus Red Hawk, but it would be awesome to watch. But it's just not make or break for me, man. Nor for Jerry either. Hawk is just not. I don't know, man. Hawk. I've never been that big on the Hawk, man. Like when I was a kid, I had all the Hawk toys, but then
I
you
loved the
but
Hulk when I was a kid, bro.
but then, bro, you see Superman, you see Batman, you see Iron Man, you see Spider Man, and then Spider. Nah, no, actually, is you see Spider Man, and Spider Man just becomes everything. Spider Man was everyone's world as a kid. You know what I mean? So, okay, now let's talk about this, guys. X Men. So, if you don't know, Jerry talked about this. I think a couple of weeks ago. He made me read it, and now he set me on a freaking mission. It seems like, because I've
I
been
sent you the
tripping
comic,
on my
right?
mind. Yes, you did. Shout out to Jerry for hooking me up. So I read it, and then I ended up reading how Krakoa ended because I was like, what the hell is going on? Because it just didn't seem right to me that Krakoa was something that Hickman wrote, and it just seemed something that they were just on for a while. And it just, to me, it just seems that it ended so abruptly. Like I thought that there was gonna be more of an epic ending to this Krakoa like era,
Well,
and
so
it just didn't seem it just felt like, bro, it literally just felt like it just ended like fast.
no, so they did, and I haven't read it. So basically, Krakoa, for those of you that don't know, is a nation state island for mutants, founded by mutants, and it started with a two different comic series written by the same writer, Jonathan Hickman, who is 100%, no questions asked, the greatest Marvel Comics writer to ever live. And there are there's the Powers of X and House of X, and each are 5 issues. You're supposed to read them, and this is kind of Jonathan Hickman's thing. He does 2 series at a time, and they're meant to be read together. So you read issue 1, you read issue 1, you read 2, and so forth. Anyway, they did that. Then they did a Jonathan Hickman X-Men series, and then Jerry Duggan, I'm pretty sure that's who did the second one. I've only read the first, like, the beginning, which is the House of X, Powers of X saga, which is about the founding of Krakoa. And then there's just X-Men.
Yeah.
That one's by Jonathan. And then there's a second X-Men series by Jerry Duggan. But then they did the fall of Powers of X and the fall
Exactly.
of House of X series.
That's
And that's
what
how they
is,
ended it.
yeah, and it's weird, but so like Orcus attacks like Krakoa, and then basically the X-Men goes underground, right? And then it just seems like X-Men did some counterattacks, and they're just like, yeah, we're just gonna end the organization. It just seems weird to me personally. Like I just,
I gotta read it.
yeah, like and like the
I
X-Men
also
bring
feel
down
like it's
Orchid.
unfair to you to fully judge this story because you haven't read it in full yet either.
Yes, but like the ending, and because I watched like the first half of it on Comics Explained, and then I read the ending, and it just like I don't know, I didn't expect it more of a epic ending. Like yes, they take down Orcus, but it's like I just thought it would be more epic. That's my opinion. And
You
then
know,
but
the beginning was epic, and Jonathan Hickman wrote the beginning,
the
and I'm pretty
beginning
sure
was dope.
he didn't write the ending.
Yeah, it just didn't seem too epic for me personally. And I feel like even when I read the old school X-Men comics, they all had epic endings, you know. So maybe I'm just, anyways. Okay, so let's talk about this X-Men reboot in the comics because they have relaunched it, and it's something that was weird. So I saw that Tom Brevoort's name was in the X-Men team, and I know he was the editor of the Avengers comics, and now he's on the X-Men line. And the rumor is that this happened because apparently Feige wants this to be connected to what he's going to do in Marvel. And because I mean, and if you guys don't know, Feige is a high ranking person in Marvel, period. So, all the Marvel comics, everything that happens in Marvel goes through him. So he knows what is going on. And so what is in this comic? So I mean, from what I read, and you can also comment on this, and this is what makes me happy. It seems like the X-Men is back to its roots, which is they're fighting for a humanity that is very suspect of them. And that very first issue really like brings it back to that. I think Cyclops was super dope in it, bro. And what even got me hyped was when Beast was saying that like Scott is like basically the greatest leader that he has ever been with in his whole life, which is just building this idea. And not to mention, this is the Beast that was with the Avengers. So I mean, he's basically saying that Scott is a better tactical leader than Cap, which is
He did
arguably
say that.
you can argue that. You can argue that Scott is a better leader than Captain America.
Bro, Captain America is the GOAT. I'm sorry. And I'm a big Cyclops fan, but I would argue anyone to the death.
Yeah, I would
that
disagree.
Captain America is
I think it's arguable that Scott could be one of the greatest. He could be the greatest leader in comics.
Bro, Captain America gives presidential level motivation speeches. He is like the master leader.
Facts. By the way, Chris Evans did those things perfectly, man.
He did. He really, really did.
Sorry, my cat was clawing at the door. Okay, stupid cat. All right, so back, yeah, she drives me insane, bro. It's just like having an actual kid. Okay, so now let's get back to it. So, where am I at here? Okay, now there are rumors, and so this is all in my notes here. There are rumors that the Judgment Day concept will be adapted into the new X-Men comic books, and basically this is where the Eternals realize that the mutants are deviants, and that basically they want to destroy the mutants. So we will see like a mutants and a Eternals war. Now, if this is true, I do believe that this will happen in the MCU, and I'm not going to lie. And you and I have talked about over 1,000 times how the Eternals could link in here. I do think a Eternals versus X-Men battle will be dope. But also,
so
what's up?
You do know that like literally like last year or 2 years ago, I forget, there was a crossover comic and it was called Axe Judgment Day, and Axe stood for Avengers, X-Men, Eternals.
Yes, and that's where I'm about to go, okay? Because and we're gonna talk about this with Avengers 5, because also with the Eternals, this also brings in the topic of the Avengers. And with Captain America Brave New World, and with them blatantly, showing us that George Washington Bridge is most likely going to be Giancarlo's character, which he deals with mutants, he deals with Cable, he deals with the X-Force, and they're blatantly kind of showing us that, right? And then with also the Deadpool and Wolverine hints that this is the new era of the X-Men. I think we are getting the X-Men streamlined into the MCU right now. And a lot of people might hate on that. I think that is the best decision that they are ever going to make. I know people want to wait until the freaking reboot, but these characters should have been in here after Endgame, right after Endgame was over. So, if this is true, if Feige is using the comics to mirror this, I think this is a masterclass idea by the team at Marvel. Number one, but by the way, those X-Men costumes in that comic are fire. Cyclops suit with the freaking X across, awesome.
Yeah,
I think was sick. But I also would be, and I was against this at first, Jerry. But like when I sit and think about it, Bob Iger said on that Disney call, he said that they're focusing on the big characters and the big teams that they have, and with the state that Marvel's in, you need big hitters. And I think that if you streamline the X-Men into this, and what if Avengers 5? What if Avengers 5 is axed? That could be a possible thing. That could be a very, very possible thing. So, yeah. Or there could be some build up to that after. And I think that is a W on Marvel's part. Would I be upset about them pushing back Kang a little bit more? Yes, because I love Kang the Conqueror. But if you don't have that story, you got to just pivot, bro. And that's kind of where I'm at with Marvel at this point.
So if Marvel is bringing in the X-Men now, which I can't imagine they're not, there's no way Kevin Feige would say this is where the mutant story begins about Deadpool, Wolverine, and the only mutants in that movie be mutants that we may not see again. Having said that, if they are bringing the mutants in, I think that they are going to just go all the F out. And if we're going to have mutants, if we're going to have Avengers, if we're going to have Fantastic Four, like, I just don't think that Marvel is going to be in a position where they are like, our universe is big, it's complicated, it has a lot going on, and we're not going to be apologetic about it. And I think that's a good thing. If they're going to do it, you can't worry about the people who only want to watch the Avengers movies, which it's crazy because who's like that? Like, what? There are people like that, I guess, but like, you can't try to please everyone. You never will. And I think especially since Disney Plus, like, it is so easy to watch everything of the MCU. And I know a lot of people got into the MCU for the first time during COVID because of Disney Plus. And, listen, I thought for a while that the X-Men were coming after Secret Wars. I was like, there's no way they're going to do it, but they're doing it. And it's going to be crazy. I don't want them. Here's the other thing. If they are bringing in the mutants alongside the Avengers and the Fantastic Four, why do they have to get rid of Kang? Like, they don't have to get rid of Kang. And if they're going to bring everyone in and go absolutely all the F out, you don't have to get rid of Kang. And I don't think the Kang story didn't work. I think that, and I'm just going to say it because he's a total clown and he deserves it. But I enjoyed Ant-Man. I enjoyed Ant-Man Quantumania, but Jeff Loveness is a terrible writer. He wrote some of the cringiest dialogue I've ever heard, not just in the MCU, ever. And they never should have hired him. He is someone who I don't think also makes the best judgment calls. And I think that reflects on someone's work. Like, I do judge people on the judgment they make in their everyday life, and that does affect how I feel about their capabilities.
He also had a burner account.
A job. What's a burner?
Remember, he had a burner account where he was leaking the movie.
Yeah. And he's like, he is like super agenda driven, and I don't know. He was a terrible person for Marvel, and like when there was the scene in Ant-Man Quantumania when they meet Bill Murray's character and they leave, and it's Hank Pym, Janet Van Dyne, and Hope Van Dyne, and they had the dialogue about dating and like,
yeah, that was so weird, bro. Ugh.
That was so cringe. Why didn't it work? Because she wasn't you, baby. Like, even Michael Douglas cringed when he said that, bro. That was so whack. And so, like, my point in all of this, even though there were plenty of strays to go around on that one, that I don't think Kang didn't work. I think Jeff Loveness didn't work. I don't think Ant-Man was the right hero to go up against Kang in his MCU debut. And now it didn't work out with Marvel and Jonathan Majors. So I think everything around Kang didn't work. And Kang, the character, in a lot of people's eyes, is kind of he's paying the price for all of these poor decisions. And it sucks because Kang is one of the best villains of all time, and he deserves justice. And us fans who want to see the Kang story, like, I don't want to be robbed of that because of poor decisions. Because you know what? It would be another poor decision to not continue the Kang story because of other decisions that impacted Kang. And that's just the truth of it. Because
Yeah, I
they
mean,
shouldn't.
I don't agree because I think that they're still going with King. I don't think they're canceling King.
I
I just
think
think that
so too.
yeah,
I
I
think
just
so
think that
too.
they're treating King like Thanos.
And he's
I
going
think
to have a shorter time in the
yeah,
MCU. I
because
agree
I
with
think that the initial plan was to have Majors, be in a bunch of movies. That's why he signed the $20 million deal, right? It's to and you
that. I
guys
didn't
might hate
know
me.
he signed at $20 million. No.
Not to mention, I think he's coming back, but that's just my opinion. And
Bro.
if you look at the press, it seems like he's making a comeback. Wouldn't be shocked if he's back in that role. But
If I lost a $20 million bag,
no, he
oh
still got
my.
paid.
Okay.
Yeah, he still got paid. He's still getting paid. But anyways, as we
That's
speak,
crazy.
but Jonathan, but
By
so
the way,
yeah,
if you don't think that impacts Marvel's budget, you're out of your mind.
yeah. And that's why I think he could possibly come back. I mean, you and I have been following his press a little tightly, and you see that the public is easing up to him a little bit. I mean, he just went viral for dancing at a party,
Yeah.
So, but anyways, so I
We
think
should we should do a Patreon and where we talk and we go full controversy. Like we talk about all the things that we wouldn't talk about on here.
yeah, I thought about even doing a business side
Not
too, where
controversy, sorry, more like an
business.
yeah, that too, but like an unfiltered, we'll call it unfiltered.
Yeah, that'll be funny. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that'll be fun. But because you and I do. Oh my gosh, it's thundering so hard. Hey, do you hear that?
No,
Oh,
should have
thank God
fucking
my
thunder
mic is
by me.
covering that because it is thundering so hard over here in Delaware. But anyways, I was saying, so bro, I
Yeah.
think that with Jonathan Majors, right? Or with Kang the Conqueror, I think that the original plan was to have Kang popping up everywhere, which we did. He was in Loki, then we ended up seeing him in Ant-Man and the Wasp. I think he was going to pop up in other projects as well. And when the whole thing happened, I think that their thought is like, okay, we're going to pull back and we're going to make Avengers 5 X-Men versus Avengers. That's what I think that they're going to do with the Eternals coming in, which I think is going to be fun. And I think that we are going to see maybe a 2-part movie with Kang in Secret Wars. Which would I rather have Kang pop up everywhere? Yes, but if we're going to get a 2-movie deep dive on him, I wouldn't be mad at that either. And I think that that's going to be their response to all this drama happening of like, we're just going to make Kang the most menacing villain ever in 2 movies and let it rock that way instead of making him pop up everywhere because, of just the issues that they've had. They've offered the roles to a lot of people and they've turned it down. And another reason why I think Jonathan is going to come back. But anyways, but yeah, so that's kind of what I think is going to happen with Kang, bro. But I do think that kind of how even though Thanos was the end game, right? No pun intended. We still had Civil War, right? We still had Spider-Man: Homecoming, and all of those films. I think that Avengers versus X-Men movie, I think would be probably the biggest movie of all time, number one. But I also think that it would build a lot of groundwork for a character like Kang the Conqueror to shake up the world. Because think about this, right? Fans will be so obsessed with the X-Men, with the Fantastic Four, with the Eternals if they're coming into this, and then you just bring Kang the Conqueror to just tear ish up. I think that fans would love that.
Number one, Kang the Conqueror doesn't belong in Avengers versus X-Men story.
No. He will come. He will come way much long. No, he will come after that. So like you will have that story, right? Just like Civil War, and then you will have a movie kind of like how Thor Ragnarok, right? Has nothing to do with Thanos, but the ending bridges right to it. Like something like that, to where we're so obsessed with it, and Kang just comes out of nowhere, bro. And we're like, what the frick?
It would be cool for the X-Men to get their debut as an adversary of the Avengers. However, what everyone needs to understand about Avengers versus X-Men is that they don't start out beefing in Avengers versus X-Men because Avengers and X-Men aren't adversaries. And it starts out because the Phoenix power is like on its way from space to Earth, and the Captain America was like, "You guys can't have that. That is going to cause chaos. So we're gonna hold it." And Cyclops was not having it. They get it, and obviously it goes to what's her? Why am I blanking on her name? Jean Grey, and eventually Cyclops summons it, and he goes wild.
Yeah, I don't think they have to use that storyline though. I think there could be a beef already brewing there. And if you bring back Steve Rogers, I think that's the perfect way to start a beef with someone like Steve Rogers and Cyclops. Like I think you can start beefs, and if Wolverine's a hothead already, bro, imagine Wolverine and Thor just talking like Thor's already a hothead, and with Wolverine, I mean, like I think there's elements where you can build like the beef already brewing, but my contingency is this, Jerry. Like for that to happen, we need RDJ and Chris Evans back. I don't want to see that without Chris Evans as Captain America. Like
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And you need to pay that man
but
the money.
The problem with that though is I don't think they can. I don't think, and me, I love Steve Rogers, Captain America, but if they are going to establish Sam Wilson as Captain America and you need someone to fill the Captain America role, you can't have Steve Rogers do it. Because if you do that, you're nerfing Sam Wilson for the rest of his tenure as his Captain America.
That'll just have to happen. That'll just have to happen, man. Sorry.
And by the way, yeah, I think Sam Wilson would do well in that role. And keep in mind, by the way, like if you're just watching this clip and for whatever reason you don't watch the show, I'm going to give you a little breakdown on other things Marvel has done. In Infinity War, it was Adam Warlock who defeated Thanos. They change characters in their MCU versions of the comics, and they shift roles around based on what works for them in the MCU at that time, all the time. And I don't think any of us have the luxury of being able to tell them to do it any differently, because guess what? They have created the most successful and largest franchise in movies ever. And everyone is trying to do what they have done. So
100%.
Yeah.
So as a group, we are pro X-Men getting streamlined into the MCU. If you guys didn't know, we are pro. We just don't want the old ones. We want we want a new team.
100%. 100%.
If you want to keep Hugh Jackman, I'll live with that, but make everybody else new. It's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, now let's talk about this. Now this makes me happy, and not because Michael Waldron is a bad writer, because I think him writing on Loki, those were really good shows. But I am happy that he is removed from Avengers. Now you and I, Jerry, and I can't wait. And by the way, guys, next week, if you guys don't know, because it's Deadpool week, that next Monday, I put together every single video that we've done covering Deadpool, every rumor, every leak, and it is literally going to be like a 1 to 2 hour long video of every project that we did, and it's going to be cool because it starts of how we felt when the movie first got announced all the way to today, all the way to now. And so I've been adding, just stuff, that we've done, but you're going to see how our moods have progressed throughout this film. And we're going to be doing this for every movie. So we're also going to be doing this for Captain America. And to be honest, Captain America might be a 3 hour long one, because we've talked about Captain America way more than the Deadpool, obviously. But Michael Waldron has been removed from Avengers 5, okay? And this is a really big deal because, he's wrote really good on Loki. But it does seem like the pattern with Marvel, Lily, Jerry, is that they're going back to their roots. We know that because Feige brought back the Russos. He brought back some of the editors and the old school writers to write on Captain America Brave New World. So crazy that they reshot these movies with a $300 million budget. And it seems like Feige is modeling the same thing with bringing back some of his old guys to, come in and write and direct these films. And we knew that the director from Shang-Chi he was supposed to be directing Avengers 5. He got taken off. So how do you feel about Michael Waldron being removed from Avengers 5? Do you think that it is a great move to remove him and maybe bring back some of the guys that have, got it done before in this state?
You know, I'm not big on typecasting, so I don't know Michael Waldron's whole experience, but I will say, this guy wrote Doctor Strange 2. So I'm Multiverse of Madness. I'm not holding my breath for him to do Avengers 5. Sorry, but that movie is not on par with how Avengers 5 needs to go down. You know, maybe they had him in because he did a really good job with the TVA and the whole, time and multiverse concept. And, I don't see why, they needed to pull him off completely. I feel like that's someone that you would want at least in the room or lending a hand. But I don't think he needs to be the number one writer. I think that, and I'm also not opposed to them, not giving it to someone who's done an Avengers movie before. There's only 4 Avengers movies, and the first 2 were done by the same person, and 3 and 4 were also done by the same person, the same brothers. So there's only so many people they could go to that have done it. But I feel like if Captain America 4 is as good as we think it's going to be, I feel like that's the kind of guy that could do it. And the guys who did Winter Soldier and Civil War are the ones who gave us Infinity War and Endgame. So, whoever is doing the Avengers, Captain America 4, I think that would probably be a smart pick.
Yep. So I think Waldron is a really good series writer. And I think that's why Loki, and that's what he started with, writing series.
Rick and Morty.
Yes, and I think that Loki is the best show that Marvel has put out, writing wise and lore wise. And in my opinion, I think that Michael Waldron should write more series for Marvel. Like, I think he should have done like something like Agatha, because I think he could have made Agatha mean more than what the crap that it seemed like it's going to be. And with the Wonder Man show, put him on that. Like, I think that he'll do a really good job of writing a show like that. But with the movies now, we know that Sean Levy was offered Avengers 5. And he directed Deadpool 3 and 2 and 1. Now I heard that he wanted to work on Star Wars, but I hope that's not true, because he will lose his mind and crash out if he goes work and works with freaking Kathleen Kennedy. So I hope that Sean Levy actually is the guy to direct Avengers 5. And if not him, bring back the Russos. That's kind of where I'm at this point.
Bro, check your text.
Yes. That is Ryan Reynolds and Cyclops. But remember when we saw the set photos of Cyclops? Remember that?
Oh yeah, we did.
Remember?
And he was in the suit,
in the blue with the yellow X-Men 97 look.
Yeah.
He will be in it. He will be in it.
Bro, that's crazy. It's crazy that we're gonna see the MCU Cyclops next week.
Yeah, I might cry. Honestly, I might shed. Honestly, I might shed a freaking tear or two. I
would lose it.
Yeah, I shed a tear when I saw Hugh Jackman in his first suit in the yellow.
Really?
I cried. Yeah, I did, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I shed a tear. Yeah, I've shed a tear a few times. I cried when Tony first flew. I cried when Tony died. Yeah, I've cried a lot, dude. Actually, now I'm thinking about it, I've actually cried a lot during films. Or during Marvel films. I also cried in Spider-Man when Aunt May died. I cried. Respect, Jerry. I just read your text.
Yeah.
Respect. Wait, you actually did?
Yeah.
I respect that.
No.
But yeah. So I think that Michael Waldron being taken off is a good decision. He's not a bad writer per se, but take him off. Put a more experienced guy in there. And that's a very good point, bro. You think the guys from Captain America might be on there?
Yeah. Who is it? I'm actually gonna look that up right now.
Yeah. Can you see who's the writers
Yeah.
for Brave New World?
His name is Julius Ona, and he is new to the Marvel Universe. His work includes 2015's The Girl Is in Trouble and 2018's The Cloverfield Paradox.
Well, he seems like he knows what the heck he's doing. So
Yeah,
put him in
yeah,
there. The
yeah.
Russos did the best Marvel movie of all time, coming off a freaking comedy show. So who knows at
Yeah.
this point? So
I'm trying
we'll
to
see,
if he's
man.
done. Yeah, it's crazy because all these stuff, like I've never seen any of it. Never heard of really any of it either. But you got to think the guy's up to the task if they made him doing this movie.
Feige's always finding these people that you would never expect to like.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
he is Nigerian and he was born in Nigeria. He is, yeah, he's got an interesting background.
Interesting.
You know,
This is why Feige's
and then
the
he lived in the UK and then he moved to Virginia. Graduated in Arlington and received his BA in theater from Wesleyan, which, yeah.
Do you think that Feige? Do you think that when it's all said and done, Feige is going to be the most important person in film history?
I don't think people will give him that credit, and I think
Do you think he will? Like I'm yeah, but like
yeah,
to you,
I
do you
do.
think he's the most important?
Yeah, listen, the guy has changed the game. He's made small details matter so much more. And the post credit scene, like that is a totally new thing. Everyone's doing it. Every time a movie comes out now, people are looking up this post credit scene as evidenced by all the websites talking about it. And even which comic was it? I think it might have been the X-Men comic, but there was a post credit scene and they included at the end of the comic on the last page of, I'm pretty sure it was the X-Men one that came out last week. There was a QR code and you put your camera up to the QR code, you load the page and it says bonus scene. Like
what? That's insane.
Yeah, bro. It's insane. So,
they're cooking.
Yeah, they really are. And what's really interesting right now is, and they've been kind of increasing in this incrementally, where you could totally see that they were trying to make their comics, have to do with the movies. So, when The Falcon and the Winter Soldier came out around the same time, they started a new Sam Wilson Captain America solo comic series. The comics obviously didn't have anything to do with the actual show, but it was obviously the timing wasn't a coincidence. And now when you go onto the Marvel Unlimited app, and whatever the movie is or the show that's going on, there will be like, oh, read Secret Invasion, or now it's like check out Deadpool stories, and they started the Marvel official podcast where they talk about the last one. They talk all about Deadpool and Wolverine, and then they talked about Wolverine's background and Wolverine comics. So they're definitely tying the two closer and closer together, which is cool to see.
But yeah, I agree. Okay, next thing. Dr. Doom will be the new Sorcerer Supreme. So this is a rumor. Den of Nerds actually tweeted this. I sent it to you earlier this morning. So Josh from Den of Nerds posted that he heard a rumor that Dr. Doom will be the new Sorcerer Supreme in the comics. Now, before we break that down, Jerry, who is Dr. Doom? For the fans that don't know.
Dr. Doom is the most powerful villain in the Marvel Universe. Period. End of story. It's not even debatable. And he is also the ruler of the fictional country of Latveria. And, he got his powers like the Fantastic Four did. So, pretty cool.
So how did, and I'm asking in third person, how did Doctor Doom get into magic?
So Doctor Doom got into magic.
Or should I say sorcery? That'd probably be
Yeah.
the better wording. Because a lot of
I'm pretty sure
a lot
he
of people
got
don't know that
into.
he was a sorcerer.
Yeah, so it was, he got into it like basically when his mom lost his life and he made a deal with Mephisto,
Mm-hmm.
and he was like really young and he had, he wanted to learn more about magic to save his mom's soul to gain power. It's that's the thing about that. It's always the quest and desire
Yeah.
for more power. But then he learned about uh you know magic artifacts, and they kind of gave him his intro into magic, which led him to study other materials, which he kind of did secretly, and that kind of gave him this foundation. But Dr. Doom is like a very smart villain. And once he knew all this stuff about magic and artifacts, he went to school, and he went to Empire State University, which is like the fictional version of NYU. And he was studying at the same time as Reed Richards, aka Mr. Fantastic, leader of the Fantastic Four. And they were kind of researching, like science and magic, and he was obsessed with merging the two together. I actually have a post on my Instagram about this that was from the most recent Doctor Doom comic. Check it out at Comics Cuts. But he's the master of both sorcery and science, which is really what makes him so powerful. And he continued his research at ESU because he became obsessed with merging science and magic. At first to contact his mom, which ended up becoming this big explosion, and then he ends up going to Tibet and looking more for his mom, and it kind of stems from there. But Doctor Doom is like not to be messed with, and it's not my opinion that he's the most powerful villain in the Marvel universe. It's a fact. And Secret Wars, by the way, is incredible. The 2015, also written by the GOAT, Jonathan Hickman. And basically in Secret Wars, what happens is there are incursions. So, the incursions, when an incursion happens, two Earths are colliding, and either both of them explode and perish, or one survives and the other one explodes. All these incursions were happening at the same time, and Doctor Doom took scraps of different planets and formed his own planet called Battle World. And on Battle World, he made Doctor Strange his right-hand man, and he took Reed Richards' family, and he convinced all of them that he was the king and that he was a good guy, and no one knew any better because they all came from these different worlds, and it was crazy. But it's a deep character analysis on Doctor Doom and Reed Richards, and it's just an awesome story, and the MCU version is going to be incredible.
Yes, sir. I love it. I love it all. I love it all. So, how do you feel about Doctor Doom possibly being the new Sorcerer Supreme in the comics? Like, do you think this is going to be a new, kind of like a new thing for him for a while?
I hope so, and I also think he would be I think he would be better at being a Sorcerer Supreme than Doctor Strange.
Stop. Sorry, my cat keeps scratching my door. Sorry, bro. What were you saying?
I think he would make a better Sorcerer Supreme than Doctor Strange.
Why do you think that? That's a very strong take.
Because A, he's more powerful, B, he's smarter, and C, he also has his science background to merge with his magic background, which would make him more powerful in wielding the magic.
Yeah, Doctor Strange is very reckless, bro. He makes a lot of mistakes. Like he really does. And I will say that the MCU does show that a lot, which I love.
And even in No Way Home, like he kept redoing the thing, and then there were like multiple stuff. Why not just start over? Like you have 5 of them going. Why not like, you know what? Let's start over. Like, yo.
Yeah, Peter keeps talking idea, like, let's just stop. Like, let's just and like Peter's such an idiot. That was so funny. He's like, yeah, and Ned. And he was like, bro. That scene was actually really funny. I think Doctor Doom being the new Sorcerer Supreme would be awesome. I think that I hope that we get characters like Wong in there. We'll love to see how they interact, but I also would love to see how he's going to train the new people and what he's going to put them through. Like, would the curriculum change? Would the curriculum that Doctor Doom prescribes, will it be science? And I think that Doctor Doom is going to create a cult-like thing to where he's going to have the strongest sorcerers in the universe. And I think that we're going to see something where Doctor Doom is going to take these sorcerers and they're going to go around the universe and just wreck.
Yeah, and I hope, like, listen, if they were going to make, at one point, they still are making Kang a big bad. He's probably not going to be the biggest because it's obviously going to be Doctor Doom. But it's crazy that Kang, like, we got Kang in 2 seasons of Loki. I would love to see some kind of series about Doctor Doom becoming the Sorcerer Supreme or some background. Like, give us a Doctor Doom series. It doesn't necessarily have to be called Doctor Doom, but it would be awesome if it was.
Yeah, can he kill Wong? I'm sick of Wong.
Yeah, I know, bro. People are like memeing the Wong cinematic universe. It's insane.
Yeah, dude, Wong is everywhere. For Doctor Strange should be in all those projects, not him. Just saying, they literally try to make Wong Doctor Strange at this point.
Why do they love Wong so much? It's so
I don't know.
Random.
He's so corny. He's so corny. I never thought Wong was cool. I never did.
Yeah, it's like he thinks he's so funny and he's not.
No, definitely in She-Hulk, I was like, yeah, this dude's a waste. He's freaking Abomination's like therapist. Like, why?
Oh, thank God I didn't watch She-Hulk.
Yeah, wait, you didn't see that. He's like Abomination's therapist, bro.
I watched like half the first episode and I was just like, this is terrible. And they probably threw the Hulk in there and like, oh, people will be more excited to watch the Hulk. No, the Hulk sucks too.
Yep. Okay, so now next topic. I want to give you guys an update. Sorry, guys, I'm lagging a little bit. We had a storm, so if I'm lagging, just because it's been thundering a lot around here. Want to give you guys an update on Shia LaBeouf. So if you know, I think her name is Julia. What's her name? Julia Garner.
Julia Garner.
Julia Garner is going to be playing Shia LaBeouf in the Fantastic Four, a female Silver Surfer. What I've heard is that I'm pretty sure this came from Deadline as well. That she only signed on for 1 movie, and that this is going to be her only film. And the rumor that's going around is that that she is going to be the Silver Surfer of this Earth that they're on. For the fact that they want Norman Rad to come from the MCU timeline, and this stems from the fact that they're going to have multiple Galactuses. What I originally thought is that Galactus was not going to be a multiversal character, and I thought that there was going to be 1 Galactus and 1 Silver Surfer, and I thought it was going to be the female Silver Surfer for the MCU. But what's been going around is that she only has a 1 movie deal, and that they're going to do this for this Fantastic Four movie. So yeah, I just wanted to give you guys an update on what's been swirling around in regards to Shia LaBeouf. And it's funny that this has come right when they're about to film, which has given us as fans signs that the writing has been done. If they're releasing stuff this detailed, and I can't wait to see and you and I talked about this last week. We need them concept arts next week, bro. We need them concept arts.
You know, I still don't understand. Like, why not just go with Norrin Radd? Here's the thing: we saw different universes, and those universes had Doctor Strange. It wasn't like they had a female Doctor Strange, Sorcerer Supreme. So why the change with the Silver Surfer and Shalabal? And you know, I'm so tired of the people who are like, oh, well, it was in, Fantastic Four number 107 from 1979. So it's right here. It's comic accurate, bro. Like, dude, if you have to like research some random comic to tell you that it's comic accurate, it probably shouldn't be in the damn movie.
Yeah, I actually disagree. I think that like I and you know me, I don't necessarily care about the Soul Surfer like every body else does. But I think that Shalabao and I don't think having Shalabao in the Fantastic Four hurts nor or I don't think it should hurt the film because I don't think that Shalabao is going to be a really big character anyway. And I honestly
It's just an
am
annoying decision
and
in the
I
same
honestly
direction of all the other annoying
but
decisions that I'm just tired of.
But I honestly am in the camp of like I want Silver Surfer to be like his own thing, and I personally want Silver Surfer to be in the MCU. And if you're gonna do this random behind Earth, I just don't think Norman Rad should be wasted. But I don't think Norman Rad should be wasted that way. And I honestly and hey babe, you can just let her in the room. And I honestly would love to start off Norman Rad with his own MCU project. I would actually kind of be pissed off if they were to put him in this to have this random role and then we just don't see him for like a long time. So if so, like, and honestly, thinking from a long shot, I think more fans would be pissed if we got Norman Rad looking super dope in this movie and then we don't see him for like 4 years. I think a lot of people will be mad about that. So if this is random behind Silver Surfer female character that we're going to see for like 10 minutes, then hey, by all means, I am not like I'm not really against that. And even if she is a plot, not a plot, but even if she has a sizable role, I think Julia Garner is a good enough actor to get the job done. And yeah, that's just
Yeah,
me.
I think she's a good actor, and it might be annoying if they, gave us a little Silver Surfer and took it away, but I'd still prefer Norrin Rad, and
Yeah,
I'm a big Adam Warlock guy. I love that Adam Warlock was in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I was a little upset with him kind of not getting enough screen time or having as significant a role as I thought he would. And I hope that we see him sooner than later, and I feel the same way about Norman Rad. But, I don't know. And I also think Marvel should know better at this point that when fans heard about that, that was going to be like, they should know that, fans are going to lose their cool when they do something like that. And the second fans hear about it, like, it's going to be trending on social media. And,
yeah,
but it just seems that they keep making the same type of decision that they did with Chalabao. And it seems like they're doing it to agitate the people that don't appreciate that they're doing it because they
yeah,
keep doing it and they do not care what we think about it. And it's annoying. And it's
yeah. So,
annoying that they care about some groups of people and not others. That
so,
really pisses me off.
so that is a fair take. I don't really think Shalabao was a me personally looking at just as what it seems as they're gonna do. Out of all the castings, I don't think Shia LaBeouf was that. I just think that they had a really good actress that could play this role, and I think it's something that they want to do. Kevin Feige has a history for doing things differently all the time, and I think this just what Kevin Feige likes to do. He likes to go against the grain. Now, sometimes those things are agenda, and if they were to make Shia LaBeouf, homosexual, and she has a girlfriend, now we're in the agenda. You know what I mean? And I'm ready to cook. But I think that, I think that is different. And I think that it's going to be a very interesting role. But I also think that fans did overreact, including me. And and for them to cast someone like this, it just shows me that she's not really going to have that big of a role that we think. And when it comes to Fantastic Four, for me, and it's the same for you. I know like you're not hung up on the Shalabow like all of the other guys are, even though you're not the biggest fan of it.
It's not. It's
Yeah,
yeah.
it's not make or
It's
break.
not ruining my excitement
Yeah.
for the movie.
But for me, like, and maybe it's just me personally, I'm so obsessed with seeing Reed Richards that I kind of am like, I can deal with Shalabow if you land Reed, and that's kind of where I'm at. I need Reed to be landed perfectly, man. I really
also
do.
don't like the Reed Richards casting,
I love
and
Pedro.
that is
I
a
know a
bigger
lot of
issue for
people.
me
Yeah.
than Shalabow. Like, I'm
Now
sorry.
you don't like Pedro, but a lot of people, man. I
No,
be on
I
X.
don't.
A lot of
I
people
don't
think
not.
Pedro's going to kill it, man.
I don't not like Pedro. I
Yeah.
don't think he is. I just don't see him as Reed Richards.
I think he's going to prove you wrong. Oh man, if these concept arts drop, oh, we're going to be potting for like 4 hours. I promise you, bro.
Concept art, like I don't care how good it looks. I need to see the level of dislike I have for this casting is not going to be remedied by concept art. Like
I think
I'm
it's
gonna
step
need to
one, though,
see,
brother. I think
I
it's
think I'm
step
gonna need
one.
to see the damn movie. I'm gonna need to see the damn movie.
No, you need to see a trailer with him talking. I think that'll swing you over.
I think John Krasinski was the perfect Reed Richards, and I don't know how they let that fall through the cracks.
Bro, and looking back, man, I think that we were gassing, bro. He was kind of corny in Dr. Street. I'm not gonna lie. The dude just talked.
No.
He just talked. He didn't sound intellectual. He didn't sound smart. The suit was cool, but I mean, he looked like an idiot. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. I wasn't the biggest fan of the way John Krasinski looked. And I just can't wait. I can't wait to see Pedro Pascal. But I do think Vanessa Kirby, perfect casting right there. Joseph Quinn, perfect casting.
Yeah.
And the guy that's playing the Thing, I mean, perfect casting. So I think there's potential, but you and I both agree that Pedro has to land this role. And from his track record, by the way, off topic, man, Pedro's been getting hired a lot. He's in Gladiator. He's doing a movie with Dakota Johnson. I mean, he's just everywhere, bro. I mean, the bag he's making, Jerry.
I know.
Like, bro, he has had to make at least more 50 million in the past 3 years. He's had to with these films because people just grabbing him up. By the way, Gladiator looks fire. By the way,
Gladiator. It does. It looks so sick. I can't wait for Gladiator.
And then Denzel as like the freaking ruler looks so awesome with like the earrings and stuff. It looks so cool, bro. It looks so cool. Wait, yeah, it does. I'm really excited to see that. I'm definitely gonna. We're seeing that together. There's no way we got to. Yeah, I'll be there, and I'll be there for Brave New World too. I will be. That Thursday. Now Valentine's Day. I was
just gonna say.
Oh, I told Emily, I said that Valentine's Day we will be there, but I'm gonna come up there that Thursday and we'll definitely go see it. But yeah, I mean, yeah. So that's just an update on Shalabow. I wanted to just let you guys know that because we promise you guys that we will be updating every single update, and let's just see how many videos we've done so far on the Fantastic Four, Jerry, because I think we've talked about the Fantastic Four probably the most.
Yeah.
Let's see, guys. Hold on, you got bear with me. Let's see YouTube. Because I have to find it because we've done so many freaking videos on the F4. We have so many playlists, bro. We've done 50 videos on the Fantastic Four. In the matter, and mind you, our first Fantastic Four video was a year ago.
Yeah, bro, I need some Fantastic Four in my life right now.
We've done 50 Fantastic Four videos, bro. That is actually insanity.
Yeah, that is crazy.
And fun fact, I'm looking at the playlist. We've done at least one Fantastic Four video a month. That's crazy.
That is crazy, bro.
So that should tell you that no one else is talking about Fantastic Four more than us on freaking YouTube. Just saying.
They got a Namor comic coming out tomorrow.
Yeah,
I
what's up?
just texted you the cover. It looks so sick.
Oh, that looks hard. No
Yeah.
Diddy.
No Diddy.
Yeah, facts.
You know, by the way, that is an underused character that I need to see more of. The actor that they chose absolutely nailed it out of the park.
100%.
You know, they should have called it Black Panther versus Namor. Like that's what they should have done. They should have marketed it as Namor. Now I got to rewatch that movie again because I love Namor.
100.
But
100.
yeah, that movie should have been like.
I will say that final battle though was dope with Shuri and Namor. That was super cool. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah,
When she cut off the
like
wing.
Letitia Wright did an amazing job in that movie. I will give her.
She did all she could. You know? She did all she could.
Yeah, she did. She did.
Yeah, it is not her fault why things are the way it is. Okay, now let's talk about this to end the night. Why Kylo Ren was a great character in the wrong saga. I think Kylo Ren is one of the best Star Wars characters to ever touch the screen, and a lot of people might not agree. Kylo Ren is top 5 in my opinion.
You know,
Adam Driver is one of the greatest. Adam Driver is one of the greatest Star Wars actors to ever touch screen. I think Kylo Ren had the greatest origin, being the nephew of Luke Skywalker and then turning on him. I think is freaking fire. The freaking relationship with killing Han Solo in the first movie. I mean, it's just fire. I mean, then his mom being Princess Leia, him having this strong connection to the Force and wanting to be Darth Vader. I mean, Kylo Ren as the villain, bro, was probably the only perfect setup that they had. I think Finn was also good at first. I think they had a cool setup with Finn too, but I think that Kylo Ren was the guy. And it is a shame that they wasted probably what could have been the best villain in Star Wars. And I know y'all love Palpatine. I think Kylo Ren would have been better than Palpatine if he was fleshed out the correct way. And even if Kylo Ren turned like Anakin does in the end, imagine how fire the turn would have been if we got a movie with Ben Solo instead of ending scene.
You know, first of all, I am on a rewatch of Star Wars, and I'm up to episode 7, and it's like I'm so excited to watch episode 7, but I'm also know that like it's basically over after that because I hated 8 and I hated 9. The other thing people have to realize about someone like Adam Driver's Kylo Ren is that when Star Wars first came out, they didn't have the luxury of getting super talented actors like Adam Driver. I mean, and this is going to be a controversial take, but it's the truth. Mark Hamill is not a great actor. Like there's a reason that his career kind of ended as a live movie actor after, his time as Star Wars was done. And, it's crazy because Disney fumbled it so bad, but they really had the luxury. They had all the luxury in the world when they made the sequel trilogy. They had all the money. They had all the credibility. They had all the expansive lore to pull from. And, episode 7's fire. And, they got to pick actors who were super talented. I mean, even the girl who played Daisy Ridley, even her, she's talented, and the guy who played Finn, but they fumbled because they just, it's like a lot of things that happen in today's society it's just like these people who are so hell-bent on all the wrong things, they can't help themselves. And that's why Kathleen Kennedy is like, I think this is twofold. I think Kathleen Kennedy is shoving another Rey movie down everyone's throats because, number one, she's so agenda driven that like you couldn't help her see anything else. Like that's all she wants to do. But I also think her legacy is, I think she sees her legacy as like,
Right.
okay, Ray, yeah. She's like, I need to another chance to make a Ray movie that is universally accepted and loved by Star Wars fans. So my time here doesn't end as a failure. That's what I think.
And by the way, and you guys gotta understand, we don't blame the actors. It's not their fault. It's not John Boyega's fault. It's not Daisy Ridley's fault. It's not Adam Driver's
John
fault.
Boyega,
It's not Oscar Isaac's fault. They just get the direction. It's not even Mark Hamill's fault. Mark Hamill wasn't happy with the depiction of Luke Skywalker, you know?
yeah.
And it's not Carrie's fault. Rest him R.I.P. to her, man. You know? So we don't blame actors, but you know, they really missed out on the greatest villain in Star Wars. I really think so, bro. And you know, I really like Snoke. I thought Snoke was cool too. You know, to make him a clone of Palpatine was really sucked. It really did. I think you could have done a lot with the Sith lore there, you know. So yeah, man, Kylo Ren was a great character in the Wrong Saga, and if you put a character like Kylo Ren with anybody like Anakin, if you replace Count Dooku with Kylo Ren, it still bangs. Either way,
That would be
so
crazy. You know,
yeah.
the other thing too is, you know, when you think about like the OGs, and I love Darth Vader, but Darth Vader was portrayed by, you know, a voice actor, and you know,
Yeah,
it was
James Earl
like,
Jones, yeah.
yeah. So, you know, we got something different out of Kylo Ren because we got to see him without the mask, and that was, you know, special. I feel like they should. I don't know. I don't think they could really go back and do the Kylo Ren
Well,
thing.
Vader in the comics is a whole different anomaly, bro. You know, comic book Vader, he a different breed, bro.
Really,
Bro,
like way more. Savage?
bro, and do you know what's hilarious? Comics Explained just started. He started covering actually Star Wars comics.
I
Yeah,
was
bro.
just thinking about starting to
Yeah,
read Star Wars comics. They
comic
look dope.
Vader, Jerry. Comic Vader is different, bro. Like yes, like those obviously it's old, so it doesn't look as good, but comic Vader, bro. I
What do you
mean,
mean? They
he
still
was
they make comics now.
no, but I'm saying like when in the prime of Star Wars Vader comics.
Like
Yeah.
they released Star Wars comics when the movies were coming out. Okay.
Well, it was more like early 2000s, but like back in the day. But those comics were
Okay.
just, I mean, and Star Wars theory breaks them down too. But Vader was just, I mean, and there's this thing where basically like Vader found this like artifact, right? Where he could go back and talk to Padme, and basically he talks to Padme, and she's like, "Dude, like I don't know you," and he thought that he could resurrect her, but she's like, "I don't know who you are. Like you're not Anakin."
That's
And
crazy.
and it just deep dives on his whole motivation was to save Padme. And when you finally get to talk to her in this figment of an imagination, she's like, "Yeah, like I don't know you. Like you're not him."
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And then
Did
and
you
yeah,
see the Star Wars theory video I posted to my story a couple days ago?
which one?
He was like
Oh,
talking about Anakin and
when he reacted to when he reacted to the director of the Acolyte.
yeah, and he was
Yeah, I
just
watched
like,
that.
she doesn't even understand it because
She doesn't.
Anakin's whole thing, she
She
doesn't.
does.
And that was like elite commentary. That's what I wrote. You know, I guess
Oh
he
yeah,
was like,
Theory's the goat. Yeah,
yeah,
Theory's the goat. Theory is the comics explained of Star Wars. You know what I mean? Well,
he was saying that
yeah,
Anakin, you know, what like as much as he wanted to save Padme, it was more about his ego and telling himself that he needed to do it. And because he told himself that he needed to do it,
exactly.
he needed to do it for himself, not necessarily to save her. Even though obviously he wanted to do that, it wasn't the number one driving factor.
And I mean, look, and the thing about this, he never talked to her. He never really brought it up until the end. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? He kept
Yeah.
having these dreams, but he never would say it. You know, and it's like, and it just shows that Anakin's drive was for power.
Yeah.
He wanted to be the greatest Jedi to ever live, which arguably he was. Arguably during the Clone Wars, he was the greatest Jedi to ever live. And the animated Star Wars, the Clone Wars shows define that. You know,
Question for you: who would you say brought balance to the Force, Luke or
Anakin.
Vader?
Oh, actually, yeah.
In that
I
moment
don't even.
when
I don't. I
with
mean, now
with Palpatine, who was it? Was it Luke or
if
was it Anakin or Darth Vader, or was it a combination? And you really can't give credit to either.
we're gonna
And if it's a
go deep,
combination, what's the percent
yeah.
breakdown?
If we're gonna go deep, all right, let's go deep in Star Wars about how I feel about it. I don't think Anakin restored. I think that the whole entire premise of um bringing balance to the Force is a hoax, because the reality is that the Jedi think that bringing balance is the Sith being destroyed. Now, how is that balance? Because balance means that you need both to be on the same level, right? So I don't necessarily believe Anakin brought balance to the Force, but I believe that Anakin stopped evil, and that's kind of where I'm at. And now, when I think
So
about
you don't
balance,
think the prophecy you don't think the prophecy was ever fulfilled?
I think the prophecy is Anakin. The prophecy wasn't to kill Palpatine
And Anakin carried out the prophecy, but in
in
a
his
way
life.
that and not the way the Jedi envisioned.
Yes. So like their vision of balance was that Anakin was to destroy the Sith, but the true prophecy is that Anakin is the prophecy. Anakin was born via the Force baby,
Mhm.
was not consumed by nut, pause. He was created by the Force, right? And then, he lived a life, the first half of his life, he lived on the light side. The second half of his life, he lived following the dark side. That's a balanced life. He lived both sides. And, the reality is that Qui-Gon's death is why the universe almost ended. Qui-Gon's death is the reason why the Sith took over. If Qui-Gon trained Anakin, Anakin would have been a balanced Force user. Qui-Gon would have probably left the Jedi Order because Anakin was too old, and he wouldn't have allowed Anakin to leave, and he would have trained Anakin to be a balanced Jedi. And that's the issue, bro, is that Anakin had all of these issues, like all of this darkness inside of him, and
And
the
they
Jedi kept
overlooked
thinking they overlooked it, but they also thought that there was evil inside of him. It's and the thing is that if Anakin was actually trained, and to be honest, if Mace Windu trained Anakin, I think that would have saved them too. Because if Anakin was able to learn Vapod, which is basically Mace's fighting style, which is Vapod, you are basically redirecting the dark side force on the person you are fighting. So you're using it to redirect it back. And if Anakin was able to control that the same way Mace did, would Anakin have turned? No, because he would have learned how to control his dark side. But he was with Obi-Wan's dumb, you know what? And Obi-Wan just overlooked everything. Anakin smashing Padme, he didn't say anything, And
Yeah.
Anakin was killed. Anakin killed all those freaking. Anakin killed all those kids, bro, and mothers. When he saw his mom died, Yoda knew. Yoda, Yoda felt it. Didn't do anything. You know why? Because he's the chosen one. The
But when
only
his
one
mom
that
died,
said it was. Hmm?
who did he? Didn't he kill the people that killed his mom? Not
That's what
kids.
I'm saying. He killed all those villagers, the kids, the mothers, the babies. He killed them all. The children. He said it.
I didn't.
You know.
I didn't blame him for that.
Yes, but he let the darkness take over him, and Yoda felt it. Yoda knew, but they kept overlooking everything. And then we go to Star Wars, the freaking Clone Wars, and they give you a perfect depiction that Anakin is greater when we see the father and the son and the daughter, when Anakin literally is controlling the light and the dark side, and
Yeah.
and now we're in the perfect situation where we are in Ahsoka, where we think that he is the father, that he is the actual balance of the force, and we see that with Ahsoka. So hopefully they do something there, man. But yeah, man, Anakin is, in my opinion, Anakin is probably the deepest character in fantasy ever. Um, so yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
he probably is.
Very complex, and
Shout out to
yeah,
George for not
yeah.
finishing
The
the.
only complex character in the sequels is Kylo Ren.
Exactly. Who could have been just as interesting, to be honest. But you
Yeah.
kill them all for no reason. They could have just
They
made
should.
it.
They should. They should force bring him back. They should get someone who actually learned the Darth Plagueis thing and bring Kylo Ren back from the dead, and even if it's a stupid reason, and make
Yeah.
Kylo Ren movies.
Travis said he's not coming back. I honestly think they're all like freaking
I don't blame him
yeah.
because he's
Travis said
probably
he's
like,
done.
he's like, I don't want to be a part of that. They're making trash, and I already got the credit for being a cool character in Star Wars. I
Yeah,
don't want to ruin my Star
exactly.
Wars. Yeah.
And plus, Driver is now like secreted as like an actual actor because people always hate on Star Wars and superheroes.
Yeah.
So, I heard he's gonna be in some Game of Thrones stuff apparently. So we'll love to see that.
Oh, that's pretty dope.
Yeah. So, yeah, guys, we're going to end it here, man. We hope you guys have fun today, man. Next week, it's obviously Deadpool week, so we're gonna be talking all Deadpool. We're going to and just telling you guys, we're gonna be spending a lot of time. It's all Deadpool, no other news. We're going to be going over the theories. We're going to be looking at some old videos that we've done. We're going to watch the very first Deadpool video that we talked about. So we're gonna be reviewing every trailer next week. It's gonna be full of Deadpool. So we can't wait for that. You guys have a great day. You already know these videos will be out, and then also Jerry did a special video for you guys on Deadpool. So that's gonna be the Kickstarter going out Sunday. That's gonna start Deadpool week, and then it'll just be all Deadpool. So we love you guys. Have a great day and peace out.
Peace.